Hi, I'm Jonathan Seward. I'm Principal of Langside Special School and welcome to our virtual tour.
The physiotherapists are in charge of the hydrotherapy sessions for all the children in school. Every child has at least one hydrotherapy session per week. The physios will devise a programme for them in the water. Hydro is a great environment for our children. The warm water helps their muscles relax, and as their muscles relax, they're able to, with the support of the water, able to move their limbs independently, which they aren't able to do as easily on the land. It's also a great sensory experience for them, moving through the water with the assistance of the physiotherapist or a therapy assistant. It's a great place for communicating with the children, and many children vocalise in the pool, and we have lots of improved eye contact with the children. All in all, it's a great fun environment for our children.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm the occupational therapist in the school, and I have spent a lot of time thinking about children's position, and a child's position in school is really important for them throughout the whole school day, and I particularly look at seating. So all our children have wheelchairs, and they come into school in a wheelchair, which often will have them in quite a relaxed position. But we want our children to be working, so we want to think about a good position for them to be working in. So we use specialised seating, such as this chair, and we use specialised seating that can be catered individually for each child. And it's really important that we think about our child's body symmetry and their whole seating position in order to allow their upper body to be relaxed and to allow them to use their hands. So chairs we can use, we can change lots of positions on the chairs, we can change their seat depth, we can change their backrest angles, and we can position different guides on their hips and on their trunk to keep them nice and upright. That helps us to, as I say, give them a relaxed posture, to be able to use their hands as much as possible, and to keep their head nice and upright for them to be able to work. Each child in school is individually assessed for a chair when they come to school, and it will be chosen according to their needs and the one that makes them sit in the best position and makes them most comfortable. This chair may be changed as they go through the school and as they grow, because it may not always meet their needs. They often will be looking at different head positions as well, and different ways in order to support a child's head, such as this, so they can keep their head in a really good position, particularly for activities such as eating and for playing. So once we have our child seated well, we will then be able to look at their hands, and part of my role is also to look at a child's hands and what they're able to do with them. So every child will have a hand programme where they'll be thinking about stretches and making sure that we keep as much range of movement as we can for as long as possible. And we'll also be assessing what their hands can do within a play activities. So we will set children goals which will then be incorporated into their daily play, into their daily routine. And that may be the toys they want to play with. It may be to do with when they're eating or when they're crawling around. So we have lots of different ways that we look at hands and how they use them. We may look at splints as well, as some of our children have splints which they'll wear on their hands during a lot of the school day, and sometimes overnight, where we give them a good stretch and good range of movement. So each child will have an individually tailored plan for their hands as well as for their seating.
Hi, I'm Nikki, and I'm the assistant head teacher at Langside School for the lower school, and I am the early years teacher. I create bespoke curriculums for the pupils that start when they're about 2, after an initial assessment that is taken from a multidisciplinary approach. We have a lot of fun in the early years, and there's always giggles and smiles to be had.
Hello, my name's Penny and I'm a teacher at Langside School. I'm also the personal, social and emotional wellbeing coordinator as well. So we've come up with some emotional wellbeing toolkits to help our children, because obviously they can't tell us how they are feeling or their changing behaviours, so that as advocates we have to help them. So we have something called a traffic light profile, and this helps us to see the changing behaviour in children and the interventions we can use. We also do yoga as well. We also have something called a happiness box, which shows interventions that we can use to ensure that children are ready to engage in learning and are happy as well. We also have sensory integration, which is part of the physiotherapy programme, and we do intensive interaction too, which is a lot to do with our SALT and communication, but that's basically making attachments and getting the children to enjoy interactions with each other. And then we have massage, we have nurturing and meaningful touch. So for our guys, emotional wellbeing is really important because it helps them to get ready to engage in their learning, and if they're not ready to engage, then there's no learning to take place. So it's really important that we have all these interventions in place.
This is our Imaginarium. It is the sensory room based at Langside. This space is used primarily for well-being, but it's also used as an educational tool. The screens can portray any videos that we find on YouTube and allow the children to experience different things such as a rocket taking off or life under the sea. But we can also scan pages in from books and use it as an educational tool when telling them stories. The different elements of the room are all controlled by the iPad, so we can choose to have different elements on based on individual child's needs.
My name's Hazel Thomas and I'm the lead nurse here at Langside for Diverse Abilities. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of what the nursing role is here. Like all the other departments in the school, what our aim is to do is to give the very best care possible to the children and the young people that we have here. So to that end, what we first have to do is to find out what best care is, and we have to go outside our organisation to see what other people are doing, where the best research is, what is happening out in the big wide world. So some of the things that we will do is try to network with other places. So we're involved with a nursing network that we run here for people who are interested in children with learning disabilities. We have close links with Bournemouth University and with Poole Hospital. And one of the groups I'm involved with is the Wessex Epilepsy Forum. So that gives us opportunity to see what's happening both on a local and a national level and bring that knowledge back into the school. And also sometimes to be involved in actually developing best practice for other places as well. So one of the things that I've been involved with is looking at midazolam guidelines. Midazolam is a drug that's given for epilepsy, and through being involved with the Epilepsy Forum I was able to assist with that. So that's something that I've been involved with in the last few years. When we bring that knowledge back to the school, we want to make sure that we are in one order. Okay, we bring that knowledge back to the school and we look at the children and young people we've got and we assess what healthcare needs that they have. So we sometimes meet with parents, we have clinics here that we hold here, and we look to bring that best practice knowledge back to our children. We can use a variety of different assessment tools with them, so we might use national and local kind of assessment tools, and sometimes we develop our own tools based on the knowledge that we've got from other places that we can use to make sure that we're putting into place the right kind of care plans. When we care plan, one of the things that I think is particularly special about Langside is that we work with a number of different professionals in the school. So we have therapists, we have teachers here, so we make sure that when we're planning the healthcare of children, it doesn't dominate their lives, but what we want to do is make sure that it fits into the rest of their lives so that we give holistic care to them, so they're getting a good quality of life. So as we care plan, we're trying to make sure that we time their medical interventions to match in with their educational needs, their therapy needs, so that we're all working together rather than against each other. Because when you have children with such complex needs, it sometimes is difficult to fit everything in. So we work very closely together here at Langside. So we've got our care plans, which will talk about the normal state of a child, what their normal is. That can look a bit different from typical for their age group. And then we look at the particular interventions that they might need to keep them in the best kind of health, the optimum health for that person. With our care plans, on each care plan we will have a list of skills, competencies that are needed in order to look after that particular individual, so that we know exactly what their needs are, and I'll come back to that later. Alongside the care that we're giving to the children and the planning that we're doing for them, we also do a lot of training for staff, both here at school and across the organisation. We base that training on protocols that we are drawing up that are based on the national and local guidelines that we've already found. So we draw up protocols that we use within diverse abilities. So this is the kind of how-to document, how we do these particular tasks, how we make sure that the people that are in our care are safe and that we are giving best practice to them. From there we develop training programmes. We've got a whole clinical skills training programme where we spend a day looking at a particular area of health. So rather than just picking out tasks, we want to look at the holistic kind of range of interventions that are available for people with different needs, say in the area of feeding and eating, nutrition. So rather than just say training somebody in gastrostomy feeding, which is a very particular task, everybody will do a training day where they look at the whole anatomy and physiology of the digestive system. They'll have a think about the sort of psychological, the emotional needs that come along with eating and nutrition. And so where we've got specific tasks that need to be taught, they are taught in context of the kind of life that the children will be living. So we have our clinical skills training days. Got some training programs there, and then when it comes to actually working those skills out, we have our competency documents, and that's where we go back to the care plans as well. So we have staff who will be signed off as competent for particular skills, and then we can match those skills to the needs that the children have, so we make sure that we are getting that best practice care directly into the classrooms and to what the children need.
Hi, I'm Lynn. I'm the speech and language therapist at Langside School, and I'm responsible for ensuring that all the children who feed orally do so safely, and I'm also responsible for the communication needs of the children and ensuring that all the staff who work with the children use the most appropriate strategies to support their needs.
Hi, I'm Linda Lark. I'm one of the assistant head teachers, and I also share the options class with Leslie. I lead on the transition. Transition takes about 5 years. It's a very thorough process in order to get the best for our students. We also find it's quite a difficult process for our parents. Their son or daughter are leaving the security of a team of multidisciplinary professionals who have been overseeing the welfare and the health of their son or daughter for all these years. So the transition process is discussed at the annual reviews. It starts when a student is 14. Parents are given a booklet which is called Help, I've Got a Teenager, and it outlines the process and gives information about local services and providers and contact details. At each of the annual reviews we discuss transition a little bit more, and we support parents to visit any destinations and really to everybody, so that everybody has all the information about their son and daughter. When a destination has been chosen, the student will begin a phased transition. So they are supported by Langside staff, and future support workers will come into school and visit them in the classroom and also spend one-to-one time with each of the therapists. When a student has transitioned fully and left Langside School, we still keep an eye on them because we hold a post-transition meeting for an update and to reflect on the whole process itself. We do need to get the best for our students, and we just do everything that we can do to support parents to do that.
So my name's Leslie, and I'm a part-time teacher in a job share in the top class of our school, which is called Options. And Options is all about bridging the gap between school and the student's future life. When children come into Options, it's usually at around the age of 14 or so, but when they enter our sixth form at 16 years old, we look at reducing the targets. Lower in the school they have 10 or more targets. We have only 4 or 5 targets, focusing in on what we think is going to be really important for the future of those students. By this time we know their strengths and we want to play to their strengths and send them out prepared to the outside world. Part of our curriculum is to do the Duke of Edinburgh Award, and that consists of 4 modules. There's a skills module, which this year was focused on gardening and revamping our sensory garden in school. And another aspect is volunteering, which we're just about to undertake next week when we start visiting Colton Care, the care home next door to the school, to sing and get to know some of the people living there. We also do a physical aspect, which has been often rebound or dance activities. And finally, the expedition, which is something we all look forward to, where last year we did a sleepover in school and a day visit to Avon Tyrrell Park, where children were able to go on zip wires and canoes and do archery. And then we slept in school, had our fireworks, and enjoyed a day out in Bournemouth the day after. We all had a great time.